Okay, today we'll take the revision of your important topic working capital management. So first I will give you a brief summary of this chapter and then we'll take some important questions. Okay, so write down working capital management. The focus is your exam because this is a revision discussion now. We have already learnt in detail. So first we'll write down the meaning of working capital. Working capital is current assets minus current liabilities. So what is gross working capital? Gross working capital, if they ask you, then you will write current assets only. And this current asset minus current liability is called net working capital. If you want to add this word net here, you can add. Is it right? So these are basic things. Then in this chapter, we are required to calculate operating cycle. We are required to calculate operating cycle. So under that I will write 2 points. One, gross operating cycle. Operating cycle means time required to convert cash into raw material into WIP into finished goods into debtor and debtors again into cash. So gross operating cycle is equal to raw material holding period plus WIP holding period plus finished goods storage period. Finished goods storage period. This is like a quick summary of this chapter. Plus debtor collection period. Anything extra you want to note down for yourself, you can do it. Debtor collection period. Okay. And then you write down second point, net operating cycle. Net operating cycle will be equal to gross operating cycle minus, what is minus? Creditors payment period minus creditors. Keep writing also. It will be helpful a day before the exam to revise. Okay. Then fourth, you write down point number 4, how to calculate raw material storage period. How to calculate raw material storage period. So there are two formulae I will give you. Depending on the information in the problem, you can apply that. First formula is average stock of raw material divided by average raw material. RM means raw material, not Rani Mukherjee. Okay. Average raw material consumption per day. Otherwise, some student will think I am teaching something different. So average raw material consumption per day. So this is your average stock of raw material. This is the stock you hold. Divided by how much you consume per day will give you on an average how many days the raw material remains in your stock before it is sent for production. The other formula is 365 divided by raw material turnover ratio. 365 divided by raw material turnover ratio will also give the answer in raw material storage period in days. When you are dividing by 365, you will get answer in days. if the institute specifically mentions 360 days in the problem, then take 360 days. Up to this you have noted. Now I will go to fifth formula is WIP holding period. WIP holding period is equal to same logic for how many days the stock remains in WIP stage. Okay, so average stock of WIP upon average cost of production per day. Average cost of production per day. Or 365 days or 360 days divided by WIP turnover ratio, if turnover ratio is given. Sixth formula write down for finished goods storage period. Finished goods storage period. Here also I will give you two formula. One is average stock of finished goods. Keep writing also. When you write yourself, you will learn more. This is a summary you have to prepare yourself. You can add few more points if you want on your own. Is it right? So that one day before the exam, when you have only limited time available to revise such vast syllabus, you can do it. So average stock of finished goods divided by what? Divided by, come on, average cost of goods sold per day. Goods sold per day. Same logic, or you can write 365 days or 360 days depending upon the question. If you have to compute in days, if they ask in months, 12 months divided by you will write, okay, or 12 months divided by what? Yes, finished goods turnover ratio or stock turnover ratio or inventory turnover ratio. Stock turnover ratio, inventory turnover ratio. Seventh formula write down debtors collection period. For how many days you collect your receivables. So write down average accounts receivable. Average accounts receivable. Receivable means debtor and bills receivable both. Receivables means debtor plus bills receivable divided by average credit sales per day. Average credit sales per day, or you can write 365 days or 360 days or 12 months. If you want the answer in months, divide by what? Divide by debtors turnover ratio, depending upon how the information is given. If suppose it says debtors turnover ratio is 5, find out debtors collection period. Then you have no choice but to use the second formula. Is it right? Now here what care you will take, in the numerator you will take debtor and bills receivable both, and the denominator should have credit sale. Underline or highlight if you have a highlighter. Do not take cash sale. Do not take cash sales. Point number 8, write down creditors payment period. All this will be required for calculating operating cycle. Okay. Each of the element you have to first compute, then you will get the operating cycle by adding these numbers. So write down average accounts payable. So average accounts payable means creditors plus bills payable. creditor plus bills payable. So today before you sleep, just revise your book one more time and divide by what? Divide by average credit purchase, underline credit purchase. If cash purchase is given, don't consider, per day, or 365 days, or 360 days, or 12 months. If you have to compute in months, divide by what? Creditors turnover ratio. So this gives you time required on an average to make payment to creditors. Is it right? And how do you get the average in all the above formula? Average will be equal to opening balance plus closing balance divided by 2. Opening balance plus closing balance divided by 2 for all these items. Okay. Then one more formula, note down. Amount of working capital required. Amount of working capital required using operating cycle. Using operating cycle. So that is equal to annual operating cost divided by number of operating cycles. Annual operating cost divided by number of operating cycles. Or you can say, or operating cycle period divided by 365 days into annual operating cost. It means proportionate. Depending upon how the information is available or which formula you have understood better, more confidence, you can use it. Then your question will be how to calculate number of operating cycles. How to calculate number of operating cycles? Yes, anybody in good handwriting, write down number of operating cycle equal to 365 days or 360 days or 12 months, depending on how you have computed the operating cycle period. Divide by operating cycle period. Is it right? Divide by operating cycle period. So that will give you number of operating cycles in a year. Highly tested in the exam, this question on net operating cycle. So there are 3 questions asked here. Calculate the operating cycle, calculate the number of operating cycle, and calculate the amount of working capital required using operating cycle. Is it right? So this was about operating cycle. Done. So point number 9, write down. Point number 9. Estimation of current assets. Good student will write nicely because he knows this will be very useful. Estimation of current asset. Under that, one by one, estimation of, now we are doing reverse working. From the raw material storage period, we will have to find out raw material stock. So raw material stock will be equal to, already seen in ratio analysis topic also, raw material holding period divide by either 365 days or 360 days or 12 months into what? I am asking the students who are present right now in the live class. Into what? Into raw material consumption. Into raw material consumption. Into raw material consumption. Okay. So that means basically what you are doing, this is your annual consumption of raw material. Say 12 lakh rupees. And raw material holding period is 1 month. So 1 by 12 into 12 lakh. So even if you don't remember the formula, you will be given annual figure. You have to compute the proportionate figure. Is it right? Haji. Then write down B. WIP inventory. WIP inventory will be equal to, now you can develop the formula yourself. WIP holding period divided by same. You will write 365 days or 12 months into cost of production. Into cost of production. Into cost of production. Is it right? Now write a note. If the question is silent, assume material is 100% complete and conversion cost are 50% complete in WIP. Conversion cost is 50% complete in WIP. Then point number C, write down finished goods stock. FG means finished goods. So you will write finished goods storage period divide by, again I will write 365 days or 12 months into cost of goods sold. Into cost of goods sold. Then write down D, debtors. So debtor will be debtors collection period. Please write down also. I am working in your interest. This will be very, very useful a day before exam. Divide by, if days are given, take 365 days. If months are given, take 12 months. Into, come on, into what? Not sales, credit sales. That is the point of mistake. Don't take total sale, take only credit sale. In bracket, do not take cash sales. Okay. Then write down next point 10, estimation of current liabilities. Point number 10, write down estimation of, I hope you are writing current liabilities. Estimation of current liabilities, usually 3 items are asked. A, creditors. Creditors for material will be equal to creditors payment period. Creditors payment period will be given to you divided by 365 days or 12 months into credit purchases. Again in bracket, do not consider Do not consider cash purchases. Do not consider cash purchases. They may try to trap you, but you are intelligent. Okay, so this is current liabilities. Point number B, write down. Wages payable. Wages payable will be time lag in wages payment. Time lag in wages payment divided by 365 days or 12 months into total wages. Total wages for the year. Total wages for the year. And one more formula, write down. Overheads payable. Overheads payable will be same formula, time lag in overheads payment divided by 365 days if days are given, or 12 months if months are given, into total wages for the year. Total wages for the year. Sorry, total overheads for the year. Total overheads. Total cash overheads, write down. Total cash overheads for the year. Depreciation is not a liability. Note, depreciation is not a liability. So you will not write in the current liability list depreciation payable. Depreciation is not a liability. Is it right? Point number 11, write down. Approaches to calculation of working capital requirement. Approaches to calculation of working capital requirement. So there are two approaches. One is called total approach. Is it right? So under that total approach, we consider depreciation and profit. We consider depreciation, which is a non-cash item, and profit in estimation of WIP, finished goods, and debtors. That is called total approach. So some companies may follow total approach. Is it right? Write one more sentence. Debtors will be based on credit sales. So don't worry, just take credit sale multiplied by average collection period into and divide by 365 days. So that is your total approach. Finished goods and WIP will include depreciation also. Finished goods and WIP will include depreciation also. Up to this you have written. Nowadays the institute is giving lot of focus on cash approach. Cash approach means, under that write down, WIP will exclude depreciation Okay, finished goods will exclude depreciation, and debtors will exclude depreciation and profit. That is, debtors is based on cash cost of sales. Debtor is based on cash cost of sales. Debtor is based on cash cost of sales. Note, if the problem is silent, follow any of the two approaches by writing the assumption. Follow any of the two approaches by writing the assumption. However, cash cost approach is preferred. Cash cost approach is preferred because it tells you exactly how much funds are required. It tells you exactly how much funds are required to finance your working capital. So given a time constraint in the exam, and if the problem is silent, one can follow either of the two approach, but cash approach is preferable. Is it right? But cash approach is preferred. Then you write down how many formula we have completed. 11. Point number 12, write down, sometimes raw material is based on economic order quantity model. Economic order quantity model. In that case, raw material is equal to under root 2AO upon C. What is A here? Annual consumption of raw material. Annual, this you already know. I am just writing to complete my notes. Your notes will be very useful one day before the exam or for revision. If I ask you to prepare your note, most probably you will not do it. Ordering cost per order, you are so busy, okay, per order. There are so many priorities in your life. Who prepares notes nowadays? It is the teacher who has to do everything. Only one thing is pending from the teacher side. Rest everything they have done now. Exam, maybe in future with technology that can also be done. So point number C is carrying cost. C means carrying cost per unit per annum. Carrying cost per unit per annum. Carrying cost per unit per annum. Is it right? Point number 13. Write down point number 13. Sometimes cash balance may be based on Baumol model. in that case, in that case, cash balance will be equal to under root 2AT upon I. 2AT upon I. So where what is A? A is annual cash requirement. You have to add all those expenses which will be paid in cash. Do not add those expenses which will not be paid in cash. Okay. So annual cash requirement means sum of all expenses which are paid in cash. Which are paid in cash. If you are going to pay by net banking, NEFT, RTGS, check, then don't consider. Then what is T? T is transaction cost per transaction. Transaction cost per transaction. And what is I? Opportunity cost per annum. I means interest, basically interest rate or opportunity cost per annum. So this is how sometimes in some questions you may be required to find out cash balance. Find out cash balance. Okay. Point number 14, write down. Sometimes safety margin is required. Sometimes safety margin is required. It means additional amount to be kept for unforeseen contingencies. Is it right? Additional amount to be kept for unforeseen contingencies. Additional amount to be kept for unforeseen contingencies. And one last point, write down. Finished goods may or may not include administrative cost. May or may not include administrative cost. Write a note accordingly. Write a note accordingly. May or may not include administrative cost. So write a note accordingly. Is it right now? Say yes. So have you understood this entire note? Now we'll see the application. Theory is not enough. Application. So few important questions we are going to take that will revise working capital chapter. Okay. So you will revise this whole thing that I have dictated you again. And what else you have to study? Some theory part is there in this chapter, like factors affecting working capital, what is conservative, moderate, aggressive policy with respect to working capital. Okay, so that basic theory you will study. But in the exam, mostly two types of question will be asked. One is to find out the net operating cycle period, and from that compute the working capital required, and second is to find out the working capital required by calculating each element of current asset and current liabilities. So we will take one question right now on operating cycle period. Are you ready? Those who are ready can come to question number 6 in our book. This question is from May 18 RTP and March 22 MTP for 10 marks. 10 marks you will score fully if you do it properly, right? So we begin the question. Question is in our class notes, 6th number. Following information is forecasted by Pooja Limited for their ended 31st March 2000 exact. This is opening balance and this is closing balance, and I can use it to find out average. Yes or no? Raw material, WIP, finished goods, debtor, creditor. So for all this you will have to find out average. Then they have given you annual purchase of raw material, all credit 4 lakh. Annual cost of production 7,50,000. Cost of goods sold 9,15,000. This is annual operating cost. This will be required for estimating working capital. Annual sales all credit 11 lakh. This is purchase given here, underline, and these are the opening and closing raw material. So from the purchase and opening stock and closing stock, you will have to find out raw material consumption, and after computing raw material consumption you will compute the raw material holding period. Is it right? Purchase and consumption of raw material in this question are not equal because the opening stock and closing stock of raw material are not equal. So raw material will be based on consumption of raw material. Creditors will be based on purchase of raw material. You may take 365 days in a year, required net operating cycle period, number of operating cycle, and the amount of working capital requirement using operating cycle. Is it right? Then why are you waiting? Why are you not solving? So first you make a small working note. Step 1, raw material consumption. If opening stock and closing stock of raw material are not equal, consumption and purchase of raw material will not be equal. Is it right? So how do I find the raw material consumption? So write down is equal to opening stock of raw material. This is you have at the beginning, plus purchase of raw material. This is you have purchased, and minus what is left with us, closing stock of raw material. So this will give you raw material consumption from raw material purchase. Important formula. This also you can add in the list of formula. Okay. This also you add in that list of formula. So now you solve. Give me answer. Opening stock of raw material. From the table first line. Purchase 4 lakh. Purchase is 4 lakh is right. Minus closing stock first line second column. 65356. Very good. 379644. Up to this you have reached. Say yes. Step 2. Calculation of net operating cycle period. calculation of net operating cycle period. So we'll prepare in a tabular format. Serial number, particulars, formula, calculation, last column, number of days. So that will give all answers at one place. Keep one line blank after each point, okay? Unless you are extremely poor, you can't afford one line wastage also. Is it right? First, write down what we will write down first point. Raw material storage period. In the exam, shortcuts are not allowed. You will write full raw material. In the class right now, if you want, you can use RM. So first you draw the format, one full page. Take a scale, draw the lines. Otherwise all numbers will start fighting with each other. Okay. Formula for raw material storage period. I have given you the formula. Anybody, little faster. Average stock of raw material upon what? Average raw material consumption per day. This formula is so easy. And what is your average stock of raw material? If you look at the question, 45,000 is opening, 65,356 is closing. So this you first divide by 2. Then you divide by consumption of raw material. You can see in the above working note 379,644. And how many days in a year they are asking you to take? 365 days. 365. Kindly solve and round off the last digit. Round off the last digit. 53 days. 53 days. One line blank. Point number B. WIP holding period. So formula, now you have understood the pattern. Same, write down average stock of WIP divided by average cost of production per day. Average cost of production per day. Go to question book. You will find WIP opening balance is 35,000. Closing is 51,300. Divide by 2 first. Average. Cost of production last fourth line 7,50,000. Divide by 365. Divide by 365. So now the student will reply final figure in number of days rounded off. 21 days. We are getting 21 days. Up to this you have done. Point number 3, write down finished goods storage period. Finished goods storage period. Anybody for formula? Average stock of finished goods upon average cost of goods sold per day. COGS per day. Cost of goods sold is COGS. So you look at the problem. 60181 plus 70175 divide by 2, and your cost of goods sold is given in the problem, 9,15,000 divide by 365. Come on student, 26 days. 26 days. Then we write down point 4, debtors collection period. Average debtors divided by average credit sales per day. Average debtor, question book, 4th line, 1,12,123 plus 1,35,000 divided by 2, and this whole thing you divide by, what is your annual credit sale? 11 lakh. Very good. Divide by 365. Solve this mathematics, whatever you know. Yes, come on student. Why are you not replying? Yes, please solve. 41 days. Point 5 write down here. Gross operating cycle. This is called gross operating cycle. So you will add the first 4 items. So that will give you gross operating cycle. A, B, C, D. Sorry, C, D, E. So A plus B plus C plus D. Add 141 days. Point number F write down. Creditors payment period. Creditors payment period formula you will write. What formula you will write? Average creditors or average accounts payable divide by average credit purchases per day. These are the correct formula, logical formula. So now you go to question book, 5th line, creditors 50079 plus 70469. This you divide by 2. Then your purchases all credit 4 lakh is written. 4 lakh is written in the book. Now please answer. Why are you not answering? I don't understand. "55 days." So one last line for this table, write down net operating cycle period. Net operating cycle period. Net operating cycle period will be E minus F. E minus F. 141 minus 55. So 86 days is your first answer. Done. Any query on this? Close this table. Close this table. Below that, write step 3. Number of operating cycles in a year is equal to number of days in a year divide by net operating cycle period. So number of days they have mentioned 365. and this you have computed 86, so it will be 4.244 times number of operating cycles. Got it? Step 4, amount of working capital required. This is one typical exam question. They can ask you where they will test basic knowledge of a student is equal to annual operating cost divided by number of operating cycles. Proportionately, basically you are computing. The logic is proportionate. Number of operating cycles. So annual operating cost is given in the problem 9,50,000. Number of operating cycles are 4.244. So you will get answer in rupees 223,836 approximately. Write down alternatively. We can solve by one more method. 86 days divided by 365 days proportionately into 9,50,000, that is annual operating cost. Okay, it's just a proportionate calculation. This is required for 1 year, but your one cycle is only 86 days and it keeps rotating. So you don't need 9,50,000 working capital. It will rotate 4.24 times. So each cycle will require how much? 223, around 836 approximately. Both way you can solve. Any query? No. Why? This was one question on operating cycle. Now you come to question number 12. Question number 12, where we will learn the calculation of working capital requirement. Okay. This question is from May 2020 MTP for 8 marks. Similar questions have been asked in the exam and in the study material also. So are you ready? Say yes, we are ready. We are always ready. Only you are not ready. So question number 12 is cost sheet of A&R Limited provides the following particulars. Raw material cost per unit 200, direct labor cost 75, overhead 150, total cost 425, profit, selling price. The company keeps raw material in stock on an average 4 weeks. Underline 4 weeks. Raw material underline, 4 weeks underline. Work in progress on an average for 1 week. So WIP underline, 1 week underline. And finished goods on an average for 2 weeks. So this time they have given you the data in weeks. So we'll take 52 weeks in a year for calculation purpose. The credit allowed by supplier 3 weeks. So write down credit supplier 3 weeks. Credit company allows 4 weeks credit to debtor. 4 weeks and debtors underline. Lag in payment of wages is 1 week and lag in payment of overhead expenses is 2 weeks. Company sales 1/5 of the output against cash. Underline 1/5 of the output is sold in cash. So 4/5 is sold on credit. So that will affect my debtors calculation and maintains cash in hand and bank 2,50,000. Prepare a statement showing estimate of working capital needed to finance an activity level of 2,60,000 units of production. Okay, assume that production is carried on evenly throughout the year and wages and overheads accrue similarly. Wage work in progress, last line is very important. If you miss the last line, your answer can go wrong. For WIP part, WIP stock is 80% complete in all respects. What does that mean? WIP is 80% complete in all respects. 80% material, 80% labor, 80% overhead. 80% for material, labor and overhead. All respect means material included. Is it right? In some questions they give material 100% complete, labor and overheads are 80%. Then your answer will be for labor and overhead 80% we will take. This question is not clear whether we need to solve it by total approach or whether we need to solve it by cash approach. So what should we do? For understanding purpose, we'll solve by both the approaches. So one more practice on total approach as well as cash approach. So are you ready to solve?
Yes, sir.
Then why are you sitting? Write down statement showing working capital required. Statement showing working capital required. Statement showing working capital required. Statement showing working capital required you've written. Serial number, particulars. Presentation is an art and the difference between ordinary student and rank holders is their presentation aspect also. Okay, so serial number, particular, basis, then total approach, cash approach. In cash approach, we will not take depreciation and profit. But in this question, depreciation is not there. Depreciation is not there, but profit is there. So you will have to adjust debtors. So current asset, now keep one page blank and write down after one page blank working note 1. I'll prepare some working note. Weekly production. Weekly production will be equal to annual production divided by 52 weeks.
Yes, sir.
Because all elements of working capital are given in weeks. Can you see that? So every time instead of dividing by 52, let us just divide it once. What is your annual activity? 2,60,000 units. Last paragraph. Divide by 52 weeks. Divide by 52. Is it 5,000 units per week? So now my task will be very easy. 5,000 units per week. 5,000 units per week. So come back to your main page. Write down first. First point, write down inventories. Under inventories, write down A. small a raw material. The basis for raw material is 4 weeks. 4 weeks. 4 weeks means raw material of 4 weeks requirement are kept in the stock. 1 week requirement is 5000 units. So I will take 5000 units into 4 weeks. And what is the rate? 200. 200 is the rate of raw material, first line of the question. Do not divide by 52. Already done. Kindly multiply. 40 lakh rupees write down in both the approaches, because raw material does not have depreciation or profit. Point B, write down WIP. WIP is 1 week. So listen to me, 5000 units into 1 week into your cost will 425 rupees per unit, multiplied by 80%, because all three items are 80% complete: material, labor, overhead. So first I got the total and then I multiplied by 80%. So there is no need to do separate calculation for material, labor and wages, because all three components are 80% complete. So what is your answer? 17 lakh, and there is no depreciation in the problem. So cash approach also will have same answer. Point number C, write down finished goods. Search in the problem finished goods holding period 2 weeks. 2 weeks. Write down 5000 units into 2 weeks into rupees 425 cost per unit. Finished goods will be based on cost per unit 425. So please, why don't you react and reply? 42 lakh 50,000. Again same, because there is no depreciation. If depreciation was given under the head overhead, then we'll reduce it and then multiply. But it is not given. Point number 2, write down here debtors. Somewhere below it's written debtors are allowed 4 weeks credit. 4 weeks. Now here wait, answer will be different. Total approach answer will be based on selling price. Cash approach answer will be based on total cash cost. Is it right? Plus one more adjustment is there. 1/5 of the output is sold against cash. So 4/5 of the output is credit sale. Oh my God. So I will take 5000 units into 4 weeks. This will be multiplied by 4 by 5. Because you don't sell 20,000 units in credit. You take sell 4/5 of 20,000 units on credit. And in total approach multiply by selling price 500 rupees. Good student would have calculated by now. 80 lakh. Other students wait for instruction, then they react. Cash approach means I will not consider profit. So 5000 into 4 into 4 by 5, but this time you multiply by 425. ₹68 lakh. And point 3, write down cash and bank. Cash and bank in calculation column given 2,50,000. Second last paragraph, 2,50,000. So write down total A. Take your calculator imported from China. Solve. Please reply fast. First column. Second column is 1 crore 70 lakh. First column. First column. First column. Anybody? First column. 1 crore. Final. You are not able to read whether it is lakh or crore. Point number B. Okay, it's okay. I also sometimes make the same mistake, so I can understand your problem. Point number B, write down. Many people can't read lakhs or crore in calculator. You are not the only one. That is why don't buy Chinese calculator. It is Japanese, near China only. So write down. First you write down creditor for material. Creditors for material 3 weeks. 3 weeks means 5,000 units into 3 weeks into what is the rate you will apply, 200 rupees or 425? You will apply 200 rupees raw material cost per unit. So please suggest me the answer. This much you can do. Is it 30 lakhs? 30 lakhs will be same. Point B, write down. Wages payable. What is the time lag in wages payable? Is it 1 week? Second paragraph below, 1 week. Overhead is 2 weeks. So this is 5,000 into 1 week into what is wage rate? 75? 75. Kindly respond. 3,75,000. Very good students. 1 point C, overheads payable. Here the time lag is 2 weeks. 2 weeks. So 5,000 into 2 weeks into 150 does not include any depreciation. So this is 15 lakh, same. Because there is no depreciation, we'll take the same figure. Now you write down total B. Same in both the columns. 48,75,000. Point C, write down net working capital. A minus B. A minus B. First column. Come on, first column. A minus B. 1 crore 33 lakh 25,000. Next column. 1 crore 21 lakh 25,000. Note, write down. It is assumed that opening and closing balances. It is assumed that opening and closing balances of inventory items come on, fill in the blanks. It is assumed that opening and closing balances of inventory items are same. If it is same, what is the impact? Production is equal to sales. and purchase equal to consumption of raw material. Purchase equal to consumption, sale equal to production. Is it right? So the implication is that there is no difference between consumption of raw material and purchase of raw material, production of finished goods and sale of finished goods. This answer is over. Any query now? No query. One more practice. 22 number. So kindly come to 22 number. One more practice we will do. Is it right? Sorry, 23 number. Come to question number 23. Question 23. No, 23 I will not take, that is boring. I will take 22. Come to question number 22. Question is printed in the book. So let us read the question from the book. Okay. This question is in the study material of the institute also. Have you already done this? Or it is pending? Aneja Limited, a newly formed company. So one question I wanted to take on a newly formed company. Underline newly formed company. Underline newly formed company means no opening stock of raw material, WIP, finished goods. Applied to a commercial bank for the first time for financing the working capital requirement. The following information is available about the projection for the current year. Estimated level of activity 1,04,000, completed unit of production, and 4,000 units will be in WIP. So finished goods they are going to produce. Finished goods production is 1,04,000 and WIP in the stock will be 4,000. So what will be the sales quantity? What will be the sales quantity? Sales quantity will be, wait, not 1 lakh. FG is different. WIP is different. Sales quantity is pending. Based on the above activity, estimated cost per unit is given. Raw material, direct waste, overhead, it is written excluding depreciation. So depreciation is not in that 60 rupees. And then total cost 170, selling price 200. Raw material in stock, average 4 weeks consumption. WIP, assume 50% completion in respect of conversion cost. Material issued at the start of the processing. Finished goods in the stock. Finished goods in stock is 8,000 units. So what is my sales quantity? 1,04,000 minus 8,000. 96,000 units. These are my units detail. Purchased, production 1,04,000, WIP 4,000, sales quantity 96,000 and FG in the stock 8,000. This time production and sales are different because there is no opening stock. It's a new company. Next line is credit allowed by supplier is 4 weeks, credit allowed to debtor 8 weeks, time lag in payment of wages 1.5 weeks, cash balance 25,000, assume production is carried on evenly throughout the year and wages and overheads accrue similarly. All sales are on credit basis only. You are required to calculate the net working capital required. you are required to calculate the net working capital required. Now there is a small problem. What is the problem? They have not mentioned whether it is based on
Total approach value is
total approach or cash cost approach. So what should we do?
cash cost approach.
Only one figure will be different. Debtors. Other figures will be same because there is no depreciation. If there is no depreciation, WIP and finished goods will be same. But debtor in cash cost approach will be based on cash cost of selling price, and under total approach will be based on selling price. Okay. So first you write down this quantitative details. Write down quantitative details. Step 1. Quantitative details. Under that write down first point A, finished goods production 1,04,000 units, WIP units 4,000 units. Then point C write down finished goods in stock 8,000 units, finished goods in stock 8,000 units. And point number D write down sales quantity A minus C 96,000 units. It's a new company. It is a new company. So in a new company, in the first year there is no opening balance, but there are closing balances. Is it right? In the first year there is no opening WIP, but there is closing WIP. So you will need to consume raw material not only on the finished goods produced, but also on the WIP at the end of the year. So please write down step 2, raw material stock. Raw material stock. For that I need to find out the consumption first. First point A, raw material consumption. Please write down along with me. Write little fast. Raw material consumption will be on two items on finished goods. On the screen, finished goods produced is 1,04,000 units. We are solving question number 22 from our study material, and you will find this question in the institute study material also. And the rate of raw material is 80 rupees. So would you care to reply? Would you care to reply? 83,20,000. And you will also consume raw material on WIP because it's a new company. There was no opening WIP, but there will be closing WIP, which will require 100% material. 4,000 into 80, 3,20,000. So in the first year of operation, your consumption of raw material would be 86,40,000. And point number B, write down raw material stock. What is the time lag in raw material? Somewhere below. Raw material stock 4 weeks consumption. 4 by 52. Take your calculator and reply. 4 by 52. 6,64,000. So this is raw material stock. Now write down step number 3. WIP stock. WIP stock is very easy. Right hand side rupees. First point A, raw material. So raw material in WIP will be 3,20,000. In bracket write step 2. Same figure. You want to write again? Write 4000 into 80. Point B, labor cost. So 4000 units, rate 30, but it is 50% complete. Student will now suggest me 60,000. Very good. Overheads 4000 units into 60, but it is 50% complete. Total of the WIP, is it 5 lakh? Students are saying 5 lakhs. WIP is 5 lakh. Any query now? No query. Then write down step 4. Finished goods stock. Finished goods stock. What is the finished goods storage period? Not required. It is given quantity. 8000 quantity is given. So I don't have to do anything. Just take 8000 units and multiplied by the cost per unit. Rupees 170. Given in the problem. 170 cost per unit. It does not include depreciation. 13,60,000. Step 5. Daters. Daters. What is the collection period for dater? Is it 8 weeks? 8 weeks. So first write down total approach. Under that small a, total approach. So here we'll take selling price for calculation. So you will write 8 by 52. What is your quantity sold? 96,000 units. And what is the selling price per unit? Selling price per unit is 200 rupees. So if you are taking total approach, your answer would be 29 lakh 53,000. Wait, I will also check. Otherwise sometimes students fool me. So 200 into 96,000 into 8 divided by 52. 2953846. Oh, wonderful. Then write down B, cash approach. Under cash approach, I will take 8 by 52 into 96,000 units. Do we have any cash sale in this problem? No, all sales are on credit basis, written in the last paragraph. So 170. Please solve and answer. 25,10,000 is right. So this is your daters. Now write step 6. Creditor for material. Creditor for material, right hand side rupees. First we need to find out purchases. Is it right? First we need to find purchases. So under that you write down small a, raw material consumption. This is the first year of the operation, so opening stock is not there but closing stock is there. Raw material consumption, you go to step 2. I will take you to step 2 on the left side of the screen. 86,40,000. 86,40,000. Step 2. Add closing stock of raw material. Step 2 again. 6,64,615. Point C, less opening stock of raw material, 0, because it's a new company. Draw one line and tell me purchase figure 93 lakh 4,615. This is purchase. And point number B, write down creditors. What is the time lag in case of creditor? 4 weeks. 4 by 52 into 9304615. Good student would have computed by now. Others are waiting. 7,15,000. 740. One more step. 7, write down wages payable. Wages payable, how do you compute? So first I will compute wages on finished goods produced. So you are going to produce 1,04,000 units. On that you will pay wages of 30 rupees. So how much is that? 1,04,000 into 30. 31,20,000. And B, write down wages on WIP. Go to your WIP working note. Step 3. Step 3. I will take you to step 3 on the screen. Can you see below right side 60,000 rupees is your WIP related wages? 60,000. So total wages we are going to incur 31,80,000. And point C, wages payable. What is the time lag in the problem? 1.5 weeks. Divide by 52 into 31,80,000. 91 lakh. 91731. What about overheads? Nothing is given. Ignore overheads payable. Ignore, not given. So now we have completed all working note. Just you have to arrange them. Is it right? Any query on this side? So step number 8, write down working capital required. Format, serial number, particulars, and we have already done the calculation. We just need to put them in the answer. Step number, only give reference of step number. Total approach, cash approach. This problem has not given us which approach to follow. So we are going to solve by both. So first you write down point A, current assets. Under that write down 1, inventories. Under that write A, raw material. Go to step number 2. Step number 2, 664, 615. 664, 615. B, WIP, step number 3. Is it 5 lakh? Say yes or no. 5 lakh. Then C, finished goods. Step number 4, 13 lakh. Step number 4, presentation is also important. Institute should understand. Point number 2, right here, dater. Step number 5, total approach answer is different, cash approach answer is different. Total approach answer is on the screen left side, 2953846. 2953846. And cash approach answer is 2510769. And point 3, write down cash and bank. Cash balance. Read the problem. Find the cash balance. This is given 25,000. Now take out your calculator and write total of A, current asset total. Anybody who would like to volunteer? Solve fast. 55 lakh 03461, and try the next one. Try the next one. 50 lakh 60,000 384. This is a very important question we are solving. You can mark it as very important for your next exam. And if you have not practiced it, you can make mistake because it's a new company. In new company, we have to do calculation in a little different manner. So current liability has two items. One is creditor working note 6. Let us go to working note 6. 7115740. It will be same in both columns. And to write down wages payable. This is same in both the column. Step number 7. 91731. 91731. So first you tell me the total of these two figures. Anybody who would like to answer? 8,07,471. 8,07,471 is right. And one last line, write down point number C. Net working capital A minus B. First column, anybody would like to volunteer? First column, 46,95,991. 990. Okay, 990. Last column. Come on, last column. 42 lakh 52,000 91913. 4252913. Is it right? 4252913. So this is how you will solve a question of a newly formed company. It does not have opening stock of raw material, WIP or finished goods. So that was a very good question for understanding purpose. Now this wonderful chapter is over. Thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed. Yes.